So in the past 2 years, AI tools like ChatGPT, they've surged in popularity, but not all AI is created equal. Therefore, it's important for us to ask, what makes AI good and what makes AI bad? How can businesses use it effectively, and where does Esker fit into this ever-evolving landscape? I'm Scott Leahy, and this is Esker On Air. Joining me today is Jeremy Deuchars, Senior Strategic Alliance Manager here at Esker, and he's here to break down how to potentially identify bad and good AI. Jeremy, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So, as you know, we're inundated in this all day, every day, but AI has become a buzzword recently, with more companies claiming to use it. But not all AI is going to be valuable or, frankly, ethical. So could you explain the landscape of AI as we see it in business today?
Yeah, well, you're right. AI is not new. It's not new in business. It's been around for the better part of a decade in the some way, shape, or form. And what's really changed is how effective it's gotten and how widely it's being used. So throughout industries, throughout departments and business units, we're seeing a wide variety of applications for the use of AI to primarily help people do their jobs better. There are folks that look at this as a bit of a magic wand that can get you into some tricky situations. So where we find the best success is companies using AI in a very targeted way to drive the outcomes that they specifically have laid out within their companies.
Yeah. What I've heard from you here, what I've seen, AI is used in many, many ways, from chatbots to fraud detection. Can you give us a little bit more of an overview of the most common types of AI that businesses are now leveraging?
Yeah. You see it in businesses as it's applied to our own personal lives. That's where people are most familiar. That's where they have the most fun with it. But it's not without its pitfalls. But there's a lot of different test cases for areas of the business that it can be used in. So like you mentioned, fraud prevention, security, customer service as an augmenter. Some folks try to use it as a way to decrease teams and increase efficiency, but those are the biggest ones. There's this whole concept of the office of the CFO. So decision making driven by data is huge. So now you see things like predictive analysis and suggestive activity that is all driven by AI engines.
And it's definitely the case that AI has enormous potential. Again, we see headlines, we see the ideas out there. In our day-to-day, we are already starting to see a lot of its potential. But not all AI is good, and frankly, not all AI is useful. How can businesses better identify when AI is bad or not helpful, and ultimately not the right fit?
Yeah, unfortunately, AI doesn't come in a box that's labeled good or bad. So there is a requirement or a necessity to carefully assess what you're trying to do, what is your current state, what does your future state look like, and then leverage the different AI technologies to help accomplish the goals that you've got in front of you. So an example of bad AI is not this type of AI, Gen AI is bad or agentic AI is bad. It's only bad if it's used in the wrong manner. And typically what I see is people wanting to cut across the entire landscape and say, well, we've got AI in the organization, so now every role, every decision we make is left to AI, and you're eschewing this need for human creativity, human talent, the fact that the people running the business know the business, and the AI is there to help them make decisions, to help them strategically move the pieces of their teams around to say, well, I want to reduce this team, but is it just straight reduction? Could be reallocation, because they can do so much more. So why am I going to pigeonhole them into this one role? I can use them in different areas and let AI fill the gaps. That would be good AI versus I've got it. And it's easy to get sold on the dream of AI. That is an example of bad AI.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that, when talking bad AI, it's not so much something that can be defined in a broad way, but more so the misuse of the AI. So then maybe I'm assuming good AI is one that, is implemented properly. What are some of the best practices that businesses can follow to make the most of AI while avoiding those earlier discussed risks?
Well, let's take the example of a customer service operations. That's an area of the business that is massive revenue generator. So it's an extremely important area of the business. And when you're looking at implementing AI into that type of operation, you have to do it where you're taking the team and doing or letting them do what they do well, and then slowly feeding in different pieces of functionality that AI can offer. So when we talk about agentic AI, for example, you don't want to just pull the ripcord, have it implemented, and then your customers are now solely interacting with AI chatbots using natural language processing, or they're trying to implement this upselling type AI that's way off base. And I can think of an example where I had typed into an e-commerce site, and I'm looking for this specific type of shirts, and it came back with, what kind of Diet Coke do you want? And this is no joke. Like it's extremely ridiculous, but that's what it came back with, because it's really implemented poorly and obvious, because it's coming back with a complete different product set. I'm talking apparel, and this is coming back with a beverage.
Yeah.
So things like that, where it's using bad data sets. It's not targeting the customer or looking at the type of customers a company has. That's something where you really have to be careful about what type of data is being leveraged, what type of customers you're targeting, and how much do you want them interacting with the AI versus interacting with an actual human person.
But did you want a Diet Coke?
No.
Okay, because that would have been impressive.
I don't even like it.
Okay.
I don't even like it.
Fair.
I can see the value of like, oh, maybe it planted the seed and now I'm going to order some soda from this company. But it's a big risk to take when the alternative is didn't come anywhere close to what I wanted. I'm going to go somewhere else where maybe they did implement AI in a better way.
Yeah, seems to be a problem. Okay. All right, so final question. We've learned, yes, AI is powerful, but it cannot do everything. You alluded to it. You touched on it a little bit earlier. But how do you draw the line between what AI can do and what humans should do?
Yeah, that's the temptation for most decision makers is making this bold, sweeping move on eliminating teams or drastically reducing the numbers and planting AI in their place. So what it comes down to is evaluating what do you want your people working on. You can't discount the amount of creativity, the knowledge that they have of their customer base. I was on a call earlier this morning where the gentleman I was talking to was talking about a client they have where this client's customers, if they need a change, they send a Facebook message to the customer service agent. And the big question is, well, what happens if that person's not there anymore? So there is a huge need for that human in the loop, but a very strategic human in the loop versus what AI can do. And it really plays into what type of AI investment do you want to be making? Is it strictly on the repeatable mundane processes, logging into a portal, downloading invoices, downloading purchase orders. An AI can do that. An RPA bot can do that. That isn't something that a person needs to be spending their time on because it's a low value or non-value added task. So when you talk about exception handling and what AI is capable of there, again, it can do a lot, and you have this idea of narrow AI versus general AI, where do you want your AI making decisions where you would normally have a person doing that? That's a general AI investment that you're making, versus where we see the most success in the companies that are using our platforms is going to be more on that narrow AI. Let's focus on what is done well. There is a need or a best practice in place where you still want the person making sure that before communication goes to a supplier or vendor or a business partner or a customer, that everything does look good and you're not getting the what type of Diet Coke do you want. And then as you're comfortable as the people making the decisions, you can then move to, I am okay with the AI making this decision. And it's just going to depend on what decisions are they making. Is it going to be moving money around your organization? Probably not the best idea for an AI, or for you to leave that to an AI, but to suggest an upsell or to suggest a replacement part for a discontinued part, an AI is perfectly capable of handling that as long as the infrastructure behind it is well built and is monitored and is constantly updated, so that your customers, your business partners, your vendors are getting the best results they can. They're feeling like they're dealing with a person who cares about doing business with them, even when they're interacting with an AI agent.
Well, thank you, Jeremy, for walking us through the ins and outs of AI. That's going to be an ever-developing conversation. I'm sure you'll be back for a third time. But yeah, good to know what makes it good, what makes it bad, and how businesses can use that properly. So if you're curious about how Esker can help your company when it comes to anything and everything AI and automation, check out the links in the show notes. And as always, to learn more about Esker, visit us at esker.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.